Alrighty, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful risings to you all. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very, 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 very much for being a part of our little itty bitty tiny family. Coming to you live from the middle of a tropical rainforest that we are absolutely getting some rain today in the times that we should be having some sun. But it is a Shabbat day, and the rain makes for rest a lot easier because it's just a kind of a gloomy day around here. So hopefully your day is a little bit less gloomy than this, but it is a reason to celebrate because we are in an appointed time of today. Today is an appointed time. It is called the Sabbath day. And for so many people out there, they have no regard for the Sabbath day. They absolutely give no rips what our Creator has and what He wants us to do or how He wants us to act. And if you guys are keeping this day as a Shabbat, And you're not actually a Torah keeper. This is the beginning of Torah keeping. It is where that you separate yourself from the rest of this world and take the day off. Everyone knows as Saturn Day, where they go and they spend their money and they go and do all their crazy stuff. And then they switch the actual day of our Creator up to a Sunday, the day of the sun. And here we are in the season of Saturnalia. Here we are in the season of great evil amongst all of us. And I've talked to a lot of you guys, and we're all sick of these holidays. We're all sick of everybody dressing up as elves, as little demons, and walking around and wishing you a merry traditions of Men Day. And it is one of these things that as we are separated from the rest of the world, we find a type of separation that it's very exciting when we find others out there that are excited about the laws of our Creator. Not only excited, but that they live by them. They rejoice at them. They're so happy that we have been given something of substance in this world. Because when you look at these religions, these so-called religions, there's no substance to them. It doesn't matter what religion. You can give me any one religion and it'll take me less than 10 minutes to tell you all about the traditions and the doctrines of men that are inside of these so-called religions. And these religions are the devil's greatest assets. If there is something that the devil has worked on throughout decades and throughout years, it is being able to call a religion something that is Kodesh, something that is holy. And there is no religion that is holy. There is no religion that is Kodesh. And when you look at them, when you find that they're doing things outside of the Torah, that's how you would gauge whether they are good or whether they are bad. This is why all of us have been called to know the Torah, to recite the Torah, to make it part of our lives, to make it part of when we get up, when we lay down, to everything in our life. Because as we get into Torah, we are pouring ourselves a foundational cement structure that is the guide for everything. And if we build our lives on the sand, if we say once saved, always saved, and that the laws of our Creator are nailed to a cross, that's building your house on the sand. The winds are going to come. It's going to blow your house over. You're going to wonder why your house is completely gone and what you could have done to make it better. So the Torah is found in the first 5 books of scriptures in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And as we go through this today, if you guys haven't already clicked off, because a tremendous amount of people will listen in, they hear the word Torah, and they're like, you must be Jews. And we're not Jews. We are not anything affiliated with any religion at all. In fact, we don't even have a religion. What we have is a lifestyle. We have a way that our Creator has said to go forward. And if you go outside of the lifestyle that our Creator has given to us, then we are in dire straits. Then we are opening up our doors for demonic attacks, on spiritual unclean spirits that are attacking us, and things of that nature. Because the devil is woolly and wild, and he is part of all sorts of madness. And so, guys, good morning to you all. Much love to you all. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your day once again, your day of rest, your day of that we can spend with you, that we can look into your word, that we can rest in your greatness, rest in your holiness. And we ask that the Ruach is on us today. It's on our hearts, on our eyes, on our mind, our soul, to understand the Torah, understand the words of your Son. And we thank you for always bringing us back here once again to have this day, to have something that you have put out for us as people, as your people, to say that we are your people, to show that we are striving for righteousness. And we ask that your Shabbat today is blessed today in your name. Amen.
All right. So, Jade, will you please, actually, Mr. Cole, will you, let's go ahead. Jade, hit it first. Let us go through this. This thing is called the Shema. It's not actually hear, O Yisrael. It's hear and obey is what the original text means and what it says. So we are supposed to hear and obey what, Jade?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as fronts between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Yep, there we are, guys. This is if you just took this verse and this verse you memorized, and you understood what this verse said, and you understand that you're supposed to love our Creator, who is one. He's not 2, he's not 3, he's not 4, he's 5. He's 1. And as the Boss Clan, we're getting ready to produce another Apocrypha. And so I've been out reading a ton of other outside readings, a lot of stuff that I am going to be popping into the Apocrypha. And what I've noticed is that I don't know when it started, but I mean, it probably started before the 1800s, before the 1700s. But the Christians have gotten into all of these so-called Apocrypha that are out there. And at the very top of some of these things that are obviously not right, it says that God is one. And then it quotes the Trinity. And you look at these so-called hidden texts, or these things that have been hidden from us, and they've been massacred. They've been the translators, the evil translators, have had their way with this stuff, and they've really done a doozy when it comes down to the word of our Creator, because now we have gazillions of different books, and all these other books, stuff that is unscriptural, and then people. Because if you don't read scriptures, then you're basically sitting on YouTube, probably looking for some guy that makes sense, and then you're going to hook your star to that wagon, and then you're going to roll on. And so it's up to us to not be the lazy people. We have to be the people that read our scriptures. I encourage everybody, if you've never read the Torah, dial that in 5 times. Put Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy in your mind. Read it as a love letter from your Creator to you, and get it at least 5 times, and then move on. Because once you move on through scriptures, as you work through scriptures, there's no other scriptures outside of what Paul says that say anything different. It is always the exact same thing. It's the same strategy that our Creator has given to us, that if you want to be obedient children, then He will be our Elohim. He will guide us. He will be a part of our life. He will be everything in our life. But if you don't, then good luck, right? If you don't, it comes with a whole bunch of curses, and the curses are evident in the life that we have. The curses of not living a Torah-based life are completely all around us. It's from the prison systems. It is from all of this stuff. And it's one of these things that I talk to so many dudes in prison, and the bottom line that I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, that of all these hundreds and hundreds of people that I've talked to over the years, not a single one of them had a family or a parent who was Torah-based. There was nobody that had any kind of value on the first 5 books of scriptures. Everybody's like, oh, let's start with salvation, and they believe that salvation begins in the middle of the book. When you have precedence of forefathers, you have Enoch, you have Adam, you have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and every single one of them were accepted into the kingdom to come. Why? They didn't have a Messiah at that time. That confuses so many people. Well, why it is because that they were obedient. They did the will of our Creator, and that's where we get this foundational cement standpoint that we can have for all our lives if we will bring the Torah in our hearts, minds, and souls. Okay, let's roll. Mystical, who do we got in the chat?
All right, we have Jeremy and Callan. We have Miss Sarah Baker. We have Heidi, Sylvia, Joanna, Razul, Charles, Walking His Way, Rick, Grand. We have Josh in the background barking. And Leo. We have Rebecca, Rez, Andy, and Elizabeth. And I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
So a couple things I want to talk about in there. Jeremy's talking about, the Gospel of Nicodemus. I don't think I've read that yet, but I've been so deep into, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of more Paul stuff, and the last thing I'm going to do is actually stick any kind of Paul stuff back in there. But there's some very interesting ones. One is basically the testament of Pilate and the Caesar Augustus at the time, writing letters back and forth. And I don't know if this is true, but the reading I did this morning talked about it was Herod who decapitated John the Baptist, right? To a letter he wrote, he said that his daughter, the one who had been doing the dancing for that whole little gig and that whole little thing, well, she was standing on some ice, fell through the ice decapitated her. Her head was sitting on top of the ice. And they were all detailing all of the horrible stuff that had come to them after the death of Messiah. And they were all convinced. Every one of these people were completely convinced about it, that he was the Messiah. And in fact, there's a couple different accounts of how Pilate actually died. The one that I was reading today, it was the Roman emperor that cut his head off because he went and he took him in chains to Rome, and he's like, look, you thought this guy was, you thought he was a god, and let all these people just do this. And because everybody knew about the darkness on the land when Messiah died and there was complete darkness, the account in these books is a lot different because they're talking like everybody had to light candles. Everybody had to light candles. And then the day of resurrection, really early in the morning, like there was the sun blazing at 3 or 4 in the morning, like they had never ever seen before on the day that Messiah got up. And they're like, look, you did this, you did some bad stuff. And so they cut his head off. And so there's a lot of really interesting books. And so the next book that we will be putting out, we're going to be adding probably at least 15 or 16 other books. It'll be a paperback book, but it's something we're working on right now, and it's very, very fascinating. All right, where are we at right here? Anything? Anyone chats? Anything? All right, so let us roll into this.
Rebecca did have one question. She says, I have a mezuzah outside my front door. Is this the only place that you put them?
I mean, it talks about it like other gates, right? I mean, it talks about the gates, the doors, all of these things. I mean, for us in our house, I mean, we buried scriptures before. We actually buried Bibles before you can actually enter the house. Like on the outside, there's didn't we do 3? Yeah, there's 3 outside my door, this door, and their front door. We buried Bibles, encased them in the cement. Obviously not a command, obviously something we weren't instructed to do, but we did that just because we wanted to. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the command, is to put them on the door. And so there's one other thing I saw. I think Rick said something about who did the creating.
Yeah, who did the creating?
Who did the creating? The Father, the Son, or both? Here's the thing: is we know that our Creator, based upon design, has probably been designing stuff probably for a long time. And again, I don't know that's true. I mean, he may have just been able to boom this stuff out and it was perfect in every way right out of the gate, or he may have been up there indefinitely. We do know from the tale of creation that when our Creator said, let's create them in our image. So when we're talking, a lot of people, that trips a lot of people up. They're like, oh, there's the Trinity right there. It's not the Trinity. What that is absolutely saying is that the Son was with the Father, and how many eons and how many ages they worked together prior to this, none of us know. These are all questions that we're going to have to get answered much, much later. But I would guess our Creator did all of the building, and maybe Messiah, maybe he built some fish and insects and things along the way, or something that he threw into this creation. But from an observation of creation and just jungle life, it's a perfect creation. The entire cycle that was built is obviously designed. It is very much thought out, and it's very good that we have such an intelligent designer that loves us as much as he did to give us the instruction guides of the Torah, and not just put us here in this devil-infested world that we were stuck in right here. Okay, and you said somebody else had something?
No, that was it.
That was it. I thought Rebecca had something.
She just asked when the smaller version.
Okay. Yeah, smaller scripture should be out much faster than the other versions. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so here we are, guys. What we're reading right here is what we should all understand. In fact, all of us should probably have this memorized, that we do know this, because if we go into the world without knowing this, we walk these lands without knowing it, and we walk into things that we could have avoided because we didn't use what we should have known. This is on us. And so let us make sure that we're writing this on our heart, mind, and soul as we go through it. Guys, don't speed read this stuff. Let's just go through it slowly and meticulously. Commandment number 1 that we find in scriptures, and these are in order that you find them in scriptures as well. They're not in any weird order. They're in the order that we find them, and then as we find new commandments that reiterate into them, we just toss those under there so we have all that. Commandment number 1 is to be fruitful.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The earth bearing, and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of leavened bread, festival of matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from a rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's law for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow to the evil.
Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Oppress a stranger.
Whoa,
Do not oppress a stranger.
Beat
Love
him
the
down.
stranger.
Get the canes. Get the hickory stick. Let's take out the stranger. No, we do not oppress the stranger. We love the stranger. Okay.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make or use perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely to defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not divert your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard to the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself with the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being a Nazir.
Wear easy on the 4 corners of your garments.
The Torah of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
And guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes before the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger a clean food that dies itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws at the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
You hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Private test of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child, the adult portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with flat roof that the other lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, Rick says slow down, let those comments sink in. The commands, yeah. Very true, which we do. We need to, that's actually a little bit slower than they normally go, but it's, it seems like they've read these a tremendous amount of time, and so they zip through these like a going 90 going north here. Okay, but yeah, for those who that was definitely too fast. There's a little sprocket in your right corner. You can pull that down, and you can do this at like half speed, which would probably be good. And if you've never ever heard these before, then slow it way down and just cruise through these and look. Or you guys can get the Yah Scriptures Google app, which has them in there, or it's also at yahuwahandthetorah.net, which has all of these same commands that we read right there. And these are very important, and these are the things that we should absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, have in our arsenal. Like, you should not be walking these lands without actually knowing these. You can get into a lot of trouble as we do this. All right, guys, here we are. We are heading into Numbers 2, and we are reading. Somebody, Jade, give me a recap of what we got here, please.
So we are made it out of Egypt, got some laws, we have learned commands, we've gone through wars, and we have killed some of our own people for going astray. And now we went through Leviticus, we learned the Levites, what they need to do, how they should act, how they should live, and some more commands for us, basically what we can eat, what we can't eat, and what should be sacrificed and what shouldn't be sacrificed. And now we are in Numbers. In the last chapter, we numbered the people, the warriors that go out and fight the army. So everyone that was a certain age and up, they went out and went to the army.
You're raising up an army, yeah. And so it's going to be an army of doom is coming up here. And, when you look at the armies, when you look at the way that Yah has stuff, there's always the cycles of 70s and 50s. And he did that as well in his army. There's always he's popping these guys into 50s. And you will see here, I don't know if it's in this chapter or not, but we're going to see the exact breakdown of an army, of how our Creator would build an army, and it's actually a really good way. And so let us begin. Here we are, Numbers 2. And again, much love to everybody out there. Thank you guys for being a part of this reading. Thank you. Thanks to everybody. We truly love y'all. 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, the children of Israel are to camp, each one by his own banner, beside the sign of his father's house. Let them camp around the tent of appointment at a distance. Okay, what do we make of that very first thing? What is
So basically, everybody that is part of the Israel, they each have their own group of people based on who their tribe is, like the tribe of Yehuda, the tribe of Benjamin, whoever they were. And it sounded like they had their own like kind of flag. I think is what they had.
Yeah.
Their own symbol, and they were each designated certain spots around the tent of appointment in their groups.
Yeah, and at a distance as well, because they got owned from going to the tent of appointment where it is. So it's continuing on. 3. And on the east side, towards sunrise, those of the banner of the camp of Yehuda camp according to their divisions. And the leader of the children of Yehuda, Nachson, son of Abinadab, and his army with their registered ones, 74,600. And those camping next to him is the tribe of Issachar, and the leader of the children of Issachar, Nathaniel, son of Zuar, and his army with his registered ones, 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun, and the leader of the children of Zebulun, Eliav, son of Keleon, and his army with his registered ones, 57,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Yehuda, according to their divisions, 186,400. These depart first. So there's something about the tribe of Yehuda, right? There's what do we make of the tribe of Yehuda? First, they're bigger than everybody else, but they're also what?
The most warrior, the most like
Brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
And Joshua, when they're like, who goes up to fight? And like, send Yehuda. Yehuda will fight for us.
Yeah, and when you see the actual kids, when you take it from outside of a tribe, you take it just to the kids of Yaakov. Yehuda was ruthless, right? He was the strongest. He was the most ruthless of them all. He was a beating machine, and so it kind of makes sense that he ended up being the most. His people all became the most aggressive of the warriors at this part in this time. 10. On the south side, the banner of the camp of Reuben, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Reuben, Eliezer, son of Shedir, and his army with his registered ones, 46,500. And those who camped next to him, the tribe of Shimon, and the leader of the children of Shimon, Shelumiel, son of Zuri Shaddai, and his army with their registered ones, 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the leader of the children of Gad, Eliasaph, son of Ruiel, and his army with their registered ones, 45,650. All the registered ones of the camp of Reuben, according to their divisions, 151,450, and they are the second to depart. Okay, so I guess in terms of like, I just checked this out. Where are we at, guys? What number?
You are on, let's see, number 16, I think.
16. So for those who are familiar with how the United States military actually works, like when they go to war, the very first people that usually go into war are the Marines. So you have the guys that are like the most violent, the most ruthless, the guys that are the killers, and you also have the special commands of all these other different forces and all these different things that go in. But for the most part, the Marines are the ones that come in. And then you have the Army, and then you have the Army that does a lot of the cleanup, right? The Marines come in, they slaughter everybody. The Army comes in, starts maintaining control and doing various things of this nature. This is kind of the same thing. First of all, you have the biggest, strongest, meanest tribes that are going out first, and then we register the next of probably the strongest and the ones who are ready to go. And these are the first in order who are going to be going to battle, per se. 17. Anything in chat?
Rebecca just says she's married to a jarhead.
All right, right on, Superfy. And the tent of appointment, the camp of the Lewites, shall move out in the middle of the camps, and they camp. So they move out, everyone in his place by their banners. On the west side, the banner of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Ephraim, Elishama, son of Amnihud, and his army with their registered ones, 40,500. And next to him, the tribe of Manasseh, and the leader of the children of Manasseh, Gamliel, son of Pedahzur, and his army with their registered ones, 32,200. Then the tribe of Benjamin, and the leader of the children of Benjamin, Abnadan, son of Gideoni, and his army with their registered ones, 35,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, 108,100. And they are the third to depart. So I haven't been counting here, but this sounded like a big number, 180,100. Is that everybody, or is that just? I think
it's the west side.
I think that's the west side. Okay, now on the north side, the banner of the camp of Dan, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Dan, Achizir, son of Abnishabdai, and his army with their registered ones, 62,700. And those who camp next to him, the tribe of Asher, and the leader of the children of Asher, Pagiel, son of Ochran, and his army with their registered ones, 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali, and the leader of the children of Naphtali, Achiriah, son of Enan, and his army with their registered ones, 53,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Dan, 157,600. They depart last with their banners. These were registered ones of the children of Yisrael by their fathers' houses, all who were registered according to their divisions of the camps, 603,550. One second here. Yeah, so what did he give us a total number of this? Was that everybody? 600 and
yeah, that's everyone.
That's everybody, right? So it's a little over 500,000 people.
Yeah, it's a little over 500,000.
When you're talking about like, I mean, that's a big army, but I mean, in terms of like today's people,
It's small.
It's really small, yeah. So, but you don't have to be magnificent when you have the hand of our Creator that is fighting with you. Okay, 33. But the Lewites were not registered among the children of Israel as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Now, gentlemen, why weren't the Lewites registered?
Because they're priests. They're never going to war. They're going to be in the temple, and they are never going to be on the battlefield.
What is the point of these guys? What are they doing?
They are there to basically help you with pardon your sin, take your sacrifices, be the people of Yahuwah.
They're the liaisons, right, between our Creator and so man. And at this point in time, the way technically that we got things done was we had to depend upon a group of our tribe members, the Lewites, that would take care of all this stuff. And there was a lot of stuff, guys, not only just with the temples and the sacrifices, but there's a tremendous amount of stuff. Like everybody had some kind of job to do to keep this stuff, to keep it rolling. Continuing on, 34. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yahuwah commanded Moshe. So they camped by their banners, and so they departed, each one by his client, according to their father's houses. Now, as we're swapping over to the book of Matthew, I'm going to tell you a little bit about another book I was reading today that I was going through, and it was a different book of Moses, and it was more about Joshua than Moses, but the storyline, and we will include this one in the Apocrypha, but Joshua and basically Moses was on his last breath, and he was sitting there prophesying, telling Joshua what was going to happen in the future. Basically, everybody was going to fall. Everybody was going to break the commandments of our Creator. They were just going to do everything. Joshua was freaked out. He ripped his clothes up, fell to the feet of Moses, and says, this isn't going to be good. When all of these other people all around us find out that you're dead, they're all going to come and attack us, right? Everybody knows of Moshe. Everybody knows of the greatness that Moshe was up against, and that he had the abilities of. And Joshua was completely freaking out. And so we miss a part of that story in scriptures because we don't hear the fear factor inside of Joshua. We don't see the human side of him prior to all of this. We just see that Joshua rose up, and he was a man after Yah's heart, and he did a lot of good things. But right out of the gate, he actually jacked everything completely up by making deals with the outsiders and not consulting Yah, which doomed everybody for all the rest of it. But prior to that, this wasn't a guy that thought he was going to make this, that he was going to be he didn't think that he was going to be able to make this. And so it was a young guy that was, compared to Moshe, that was getting ready to fight the fight.
And that's probably why Moses says, be courageous.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody had to be courageous because Moshe was he was the man, right? I mean, when it came down to everything and the leader of all this and all this, the stuff he had, he was the man. Okay, here we are. We are into the second book of what they call the Besorah, the good news is what they call it. And I think that, it is great news that we got a real priest, right? It is great news that prophecy had been fulfilled, but a lot of people don't realize that the prophecy of our Messiah, everybody back in the days knew of it. They knew something was coming. They knew that it was going to be happening. The prophecies of all the prophets back in the day, people were awaiting our Messiah. And the people of the day were awaiting our Messiah for a different reason. They thought that Messiah Yahushua was going to come and free them from the Romans. They thought they were going to basically make it back in the days of King David again. And that wasn't what that wasn't what he was trying to do at the moment. He was following through with his dad's plans, and what he did is he basically destroyed the temple system. Didn't destroy, well, I guess it would be destroyed. He nailed it. I mean, there's no longer a need for that 12th tribe, the Levites, because we have a priest who is not just a priest, but we have a priest that has walked the Torah perfectly in his human form with the same things that we have as humans, the same frustrations, the same cravings, the same kind of lust that would come across to us is the same kind of things that he would experience that he had to fight against to become that perfect sacrifice. And so it is really, really good news because we have a Melchizedek priest. We have the one, and our priest, Messiah Yahushua, he doesn't have to go sacrifice animals. He doesn't have to make himself right in the eyes of our Creator to ever be able to be the liaison between us and our Creator. So this is the good news. All right. Anything else? Did you guys go over this, Jade?
No.
What happened, Matthew?
Recap. Well,
yeah, recap.
The whole life of Messiah. We're basically starting back.
Start Matthew.
Well, we had the Messiah, his birth. He grew up and became a very wise person. About 30 years old, he started teaching and preaching around Israel. He found disciples, brought them in. He sent about 70 of them out, and in the end, he had 12 of them, which were his close friends. One of them ends up betraying him, sells him for 30 pieces of silver. He ends up keep telling everyone throughout his thing he's going to end up being crucified. They don't have no idea what he's talking about. He says he's going to rise in 3 days, and they're confused. They don't understand that he's actually the Messiah. And then when they found out what happened, they said it wouldn't happen. It did happen. The disciples denied him. They betrayed him. And then he rose and said goodbye to them. Yeah,
and some of the extra stuff that you actually get from the other books that I've been reading, I've been putting into this, is that the whole 30 pieces of silver thing, that wasn't the beginning of this. Like he was supposedly, according to this book, Judas was the nephew or the cousin of one of the high priests inside of this thing. Did you guys know this? How'd you guys know this?
From another one of
another book.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was, and they had been plotting this for a while. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was happening prior to the 30 pieces of silver. It wasn't towards the very end that Judas had figured out that he was going to somehow do whatever it was, and then that 30 pieces of silver was the end of the plot, where a lot of people had been plotting for a very long time against Messiah. So there's a lot more to these stories, and I think we will be bringing a lot of this out in the next set of the Apocrypha that we read. And I think it helps with the foundations of all this, because the stuff that we clarify that is good, that I think is good for the Apocrypha, is stuff that is it just goes along with the storyline, things that don't take away from stuff, but that they fill us in on a tremendous amount of details. And until I read the story about Herod's wife and the daughter, the one that danced provocatively and the one that got John's head cut off, when she lost her head on the ice, I'm like, wow, that sounds very fitting that happened. And then her mom went blind. Her husband was freaking out. He had what he called the dropsies. And so these people are totally afflicted. Like they were completely cursed by their actions and what they did with the Creator and his people that were out there. Okay, here we are. Mark 1. The beginning of the good news of Yahushua HaMashiach, the son, the ben of Yahuwah. Okay, again, we have biblical hermeneutics. We hear that the Creator is one, right? He's not two, he's not three. And we have our Messiah, and we have scriptures and texts like this that say it's the son of Yahuwah, which in a lot of these apocryphas that I've been reading, these corrupted ones, they're hell bent with the Trinity, right? It's like right out of the gate. I don't know when they started this, but the Christians have completely corrupted all of these texts. And so getting through some of these that we're going to be doing, it's going to be very interesting. So that's a Trinity killer right there. As it has been written in the Nevi'im, see, I send my messenger before your face, who shall prepare your way before you. A voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuwah, make his path straight. Yochanan came immersing in the wilderness and proclaiming an immersion of repentance for the forgiveness of sins. And all the country of Yehudah and those of Jerusalem went out to him and were all immersed by him in the Yarden River, confessing their sins. And Yochanan was clothed with camel's hair and a leather girdle around his waist and eating locusts and wild honey. And he proclaimed, saying, after me comes one who is mightier than I, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to stoop down and loosen. I indeed immersed you in water, but he shall immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, again, a lot of people don't really even know who John the Baptist is because they've never even read the Apocrypha. When you read the Apocrypha and the stories of the Apocrypha, there's one, it's all about the story of, it's the one right before the book of the Nazarene in Yah Scriptures, and it's 100% about John the Baptist, about his dad that got slaughtered at the temple as he was protecting his kid. And John wasn't just this, what you might call a granola or somebody who lived out on this. This guy was extremely humble in his everything he ate, all of his dwellings, all of his stuff. He was extremely humble. And so when you have a guy that is so Kodesh that he says he would not even be able to stoop down and to take the latch of Messiah's sandals, that's a huge acclamation for our Messiah. That should be eyes open because, John was the man in those days, which is why everybody was following him. And then we have one who is the man, and that's Messiah Yahushua who's coming in. 8, I indeed immersed you with water, you in water, but he shall immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh. And it came to be in those days that Yahushua came from Nazareth of Galilee and was immersed by Yochanan in the Yarden. And immediately coming up from the water, he saw the Shamayim being torn open and the Ruach coming down on him like a dove. And a voice came out of the Shamayim. You are my Ben, the beloved in whom I delight. Now here's another Trinity breaker. This is the second witness of this chapter, right? We do everything in Torah based upon witnesses at the behest of multiple witnesses is how a matter is established. And so we have another one we have inside of this that whoever's writing this thing, whether it be Mark or somebody else, they are writing that they heard a voice out of the Shamayim that our Creator says, this is my son, the beloved in whom I delight. This did not say, this is me. I am the creator of the universe. I love myself. I'm delighting in myself. None of this happened, right? That's not what it says. And immediately the Ruach drove him into the wilderness. And there he was. Let me try that again. And he was there in the wilderness 40 days, tried by Satan, and was with the wild beasts, and the messengers attended to him. And after Yochanan was delivered up, Yahushua came to Galilee proclaiming the good news of the reign of Elohim. All right, anybody here want to fast 40 days?
That's a long time.
That's a long time. It's a really long
So we
time.
noticed about Mark is a lot less detailed than the rest of them. It just kind of skips over a lot of stuff, but kind of gives you basics. Of
Yeah,
what
that's the power of the Besorah. That's the power of the first 4 books of the New Testament is that you get roughly a whole bunch of different dudes' viewpoints of the same situation as they were there. And a lot of things, it takes all of these books to figure this out and put it together. And I would also say as well as the Apocrypha, because there's so much to the Apocrypha that they've stripped this away, and they're happy with their little 66 book that they've delivered, and that's the only one. Okay, And he was there in the wilderness 40 days, tried by Satan, and was with the wild beasts, and the messengers attended him. And after Yochanan was delivered up, Yahushua came to Galilee, proclaiming the good news of the reign of Elohim, and saying, the time has been filled, and the reign of Elohim has come near. Repent and believe in the good news. And walking by the Sea of Galilee, he met Shimon and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And Yahushua said to them, come, follow me, and I shall make you fishers of men. And immediately they left their nets and followed him. And, there's some stuff in this that, when you read this stuff, we don't have the rest of the story, which is why I love the Apocrypha. And some of the stuff in the Apocrypha gives us a little more insight into this because we don't know Hebrew tradition. That there's a couple of people that were not disciples at the time. They were out there fishing in the boats. This is their job. This is what they do from, all night, all day. They were out in the boats. And to have somebody call from the side of the shore and go, hey, come follow me, and they just jump off and just take off. There's other things to this story, or the Ruach HaKodesh, or these guys had been led to this very moment. Like all of a sudden, whatever happened at this moment when Messiah called them and they left their nets and followed him, this was their appointed time. This was that everything had been led in their direction at this time in life to this particular moment, and it made sense to them that, let's give up what makes us money. Let's give up the only thing we really know is how to make money fishing. So continue on. And having gone on a little from there, he saw Yaakov and Zabdi and Yochanan, his brother, and they were in the boat mending their nets. And immediately he called them, and leaving their father Zabdi in the boat with the hired servants, they went after him. And they went into Capernaum, and immediately on the Shabbat, he went into the congregation and taught. And they were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as possessing authority and not as the scribes. And this is what happens when you are a child under your father, and your father's the creator of the universe. The father had created the Torah. According to Apocrypha, the Torah was made long before creation ever was. This was not a new thing. This is a new thing for humans because we are right there. But this is something that is, you had the Son of the Most High, however it was he was born and however he grew up top in the realm that we don't know anything about, he was raised under these same rules and regulations. So when he was sitting there and people were astonished at his teaching, that's the power of understanding the Torah. That's the power of understanding his dad's ways and teaching us. It's why we need, it's why we need the Torah. It's why we need our Messiah. Especially we need a Messiah now. A lot of us we're stuck on different calendars. We're stuck on all these different things. Messiah is going to clear all of this up for us. He's going to get this down. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, if you're off on the appointed times, but you're still keeping them, you're going to be missed. You're not going to be taken out. And I don't believe that's true. I believe that as humans, we have a lot of room for error in that I don't know how we would ever exactly figure out to say point blank without a shadow of doubt, this day is on this day or this day is on that day, right? We're doing the very best of our understanding of trying to figure out what we know, but it's not going to be until we have a Messiah that the rest of this is going to be pointed out to us. Okay.
Graham says he never said not make you Christians or any other flavor.
Yeah, it never make you fishers of men. And this Hebrews 8, it says, right? Hebrews 8 is a letter that the Christians will take that they will say, oh, look, I'm under the new covenant. We're under the new covenant because the old covenant, that was bad, that was faulty. And it does say that in Hebrews 8, but if you read it in context, the reason that it was faulty is because the people failed it. It wasn't the Torah, it was the people. They made the Torah faulty because they did not keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. And so when you read Hebrews 8 and you're looking for that promise, you're looking for the kingdom to come, it doesn't say house of Christian, it doesn't say house of Mormon, it doesn't say house of Catholic. It says house of Yehuda and house of Yisrael. That's who it is made out to. And you have to join one of these two houses. You have to do that. And a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, how do we do that? Look, it's not a religion. You don't raise your hand at 8 years old and say, hey, I asked Jesus into your heart. It doesn't work like that, right? We find this kingdom and we find this path by being those who are loyal to our Creator in keeping the Torah. When we are loyal to our Creator, then He will be loyal back to us in everything. And our Creator is always loyal to us, right? He gave us life. He gave us breath. He gave us everything that we can possibly need to find our way back to the kingdom, to find our way back to our Creator. And so let's continue on. 23. And there was a man in the congregation with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, okay, I think that's a typo on that. Or maybe does it say ha in yours? Ha. Yeah, I think it does. All right, no typo. Ha, what do we have to do with you, Yahushua of Nazareth? Did you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Kodesh one of Elohim. Lots of things about Messiah is one of the big things is he is always battling the forces of darkness. He's always battling the legions. He's always battling the demons, the people with unclean spirits. And these are things that all of us need to very much take note of. That the same unclean spirits that have taken all of these people to the point that some of these guys are like eating their own flesh, and they're like chained to walls, and they're ripping off their stuff. I mean, these people are mad as crazy, right? But are they really mad? Are they really crazy? Or have they opened up doors to unclean spirits, and now the unclean spirits live with them, right? We even have the other example where Messiah talks about you get rid of one unclean spirit and 7 others come right back that are even far worse than whatever it is. Now, something that I think was decent to take note of is alcohol. So when you are, I didn't realize this till I watched this little thing this week about it. It was not actually called alcohol; it's called alcohol, and it's like 2 words, and it's the it has to do. The reason they call these things spirits is because there was a whole bunch of alchemy and a whole bunch of occultist stuff. A lot of these things when they were perfecting these liquors or bringing out the strongest of these liquors, you're opening doorways and gateways to various things. And so as you're taking the finest of the 100 proof or whatever it is, they call these things spirits for a reason. And, we have a dude out here in the jungle, and we're out in the middle of the jungle. But this dude, they're down here, they have these little itty bitty tiny bottles of gin. And I think they're like $2 or $3. $1.50. It's even worse. And these guys, they will come out in the jungle, and you will find them out in the middle of the jungle, face down, completely passed out cold. And they live on this gin. Now, when you say the word gin, that's not a drink. We're talking a demonic spirit, right? The same demons and the same things that Solomon was possessing, that was basically trying to control. Those are the jinn. Those are the things that are out there, right? When somebody says genie in a bottle, you're saying jinn in a bottle. When all these songs are coming out there, Solomon actually took a bottle, he took a ring, and he was able to capture this demon of wind that was afflicting all of these other people, and he was able to get the jinn in the bottle with this ring. And so we have all of these things that we just laugh at today, and we laugh at the unclean spirits, and nobody realizes that the realm that is around us that is ready to take your heart, mind, and soul is available to get you. And we have to be very, very careful that we don't end up with a tremendous amount of unclean spirits. And when we feel like these things are happening, it's time to get on our knees. It's time to repent. It's time to change our ways, change the people that we are and who we're becoming, because there's obviously, we're opening doors, and it will take all of us. It'll take our whole family. Continue on. Yeah, that's why liquor stores say wine and spirits. Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, everyone laughs. Spirits, gin, they love it. It's all demonic. It's all satanic. So here we are. Everybody, let's go have some spirits. Okay, all right, fellas. Okay, 25. And Yahushua rebuked him, saying, "Be silenced and come out of him." And throwing him into convulsions, the unclean spirit called out with a loud voice and came out of him. So, what do you guys make of this? Do you think the guy was just screaming? You think he actually heard a voice of the unclean spirit? Is he screaming coming out of this guy like it's a voice of its own?
Might be like a painful thing.
It's probably a painful thing. It's probably definitely a painful thing. But the greatest doctor we could ever have is Messiah Yahushua, right? And YouTube will probably give me a strike for that, right? You can't have anyone other than the white coat folks. Messiah Yahushua is our doctor. Don't knock me offline. Okay, 27. And they were also amazed as to reason among themselves, saying, "What is this? A fresh teaching? With authority, he commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him." This is new stuff, right? Because we don't hear a lot of this in Torah. We don't hear about the unclean spirits. You definitely hear about it in the Apocrypha, which is why they took all of the Apocrypha out, and why you didn't want to hear it, right? Enoch talks about it. Second Ezra talks about it. There's a lot of different Torah things out there that completely talk about the unclean spirits and how they came here, why they are here, and what they're trying to do. They're trying to take our heart, mind, and soul, and they're trying to take any hope of eternity that we have with our Creator, and they're trying to get it to their head honcho boss, Hasatan. 28. And news about him immediately spread into all the country around Galilee. And coming out of the congregation, they went straight to the house of Shimon, Andrew with Jacob, Shimon and Andrew with Jacob and Yochanan. And the mother-in-law of Shimon lay sick with inflammation, and immediately they spoke to him about her. And having come, he took her by the hand and lifted her up. And immediately the inflammation left her, and she served them. All right, let me roll through here, chat real quick. Let's see. Some of the alcohol is used to make medicine. Yeah, draws out the medicine, different herbs and stuff. That's true. I mean, there's a difference between slamming shots of 100 proof distilled vodka or whatever it is that we're doing, right? There's always a time and a place for everything, or I don't think it would have been created.
And in those medicines, it doesn't get you drunk like it does when you're just drinking it straight.
Yeah, and Miss Nicole, she has a bottle of vodka, and I try to get her to put it down, but she I'm just kidding. She makes stuff. What is it you
I
make?
use it for vanilla.
She makes vanilla out of it. So we go. The only time we like literally buy alcohol is for something of cooking, usually. And so she had what? How do you make it? What is it?
Just vanilla beans.
Vanilla
and
beans
Vodka.
and
that's
vodka.
it. Let it set for 6 months.
And 6 months of setting in that, and then it comes out. It actually tastes like
Vanilla.
vanilla. So that's one thing as well as that. I'm reading chat here. So we pray over it. I don't know what that means. What are we talking
No, I
about?
don't think you need to pray over it. I mean, I know a lot of people do, but
What are we praying over?
the alcohol that you use for medicinal
For
medicines.
medicinal stuff. Yeah. Yeah, just I mean, there's a difference between abuse and use, and I just after I was reading that thing about the alcohol and the way the spirits were designed, and actually, it came out of like ancient Egypt and things like that. It's dangerous, man. It is very, very dangerous to get in that state, and that's the thing.
Didn't you say it was made with powders to begin with?
Yeah, it was
Like
the very before they ever did that. Yeah, it was made with a powder, and they used to put it over their eyes, and then somehow they were able. It showed that the originals like came out of Egypt, and they were sitting there concocting this stuff, and it's not great, right? We've been given wine. Our Creator's given us wine. It's definitely not done like the rest of these alcohols where they distill it over and over and over and come out with like the top layer of stuff. So definitely a difference. Okay. Yeah, most vanilla stores is bogus and fake. Yeah, so is most everything, right? You can't get real food, especially in the United States anymore. It's crazy. A lot of the food, a lot of the colorings, a lot of the stuff is actually banned worldwide. North Americans have zero idea. They just continue on, and the FDA will just keep feeding them the yellow 5s, yellow 6, red 4, red 40, blue 5s. All these things scientifically make you dumber with every bite that you eat. So simply by eating a bag of Skittles, you've lowered your abilities to think quite a bit. Continuing on. And the mother-in-law of Shimon lay sick with inflammation, and immediately they spoke to him about her. And having come, he took her by the hand and lifted her up, and immediately the inflammation left her, and she served them. And when evening came, when the sun was down, they brought to him all who were sick and those who were demon-possessed. Okay, again, we have a whole load of people who are demon-possessed. Now, if you think this was a small thing, this was a huge thing, but think about the times we are in right now. Not only have we people that are completely demon possessed, we have all sorts. In the United States, it was crazy because there was a time when it went from pledging your allegiance to a flag. They had 10 commandments in this thing. The U.S. was like, in God we trust, right? And everybody thought that was like the real Elohim. Everybody thought it was. And you look at the back of the dollar bill, and it's the pyramids. They all see an eye of Satan on that. It's gotten worse, right? Because now you have, like 10 years ago, they had the After School Satan Project. You have people that are openly, as I see different things in social media, everybody's putting 666 at the end of their names, right? Some people will put 666 in the middle of their name, at the end of it. It's everywhere you go. They've embraced Satanism. And it's not really embracing, but it's a way of their life. They don't know any different, and they will never ever come to the ways of Elohim. And so it is one of those things. Sarah's hiding. Just ate a handful of Skittles. Oh man! All right, be careful. Detox. Lots of water, Sarah. You'll be all right. Okay. But yeah, it's true. If you look up that stuff, Miss Nicole, if you get Sarah, you can email Nicole. She has all the list of ingredients, all this kind of stuff. We ran an organic food store down here forever just because it's hard to feed our own selves without, all the poisons in the food. Continue on. 32. And when the evening came, when the sun was down, They brought to him all who were sick and those who were demon possessed, and the entire city had gathered at the door. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons and was not allowing the demons to speak because they knew him. Okay, so there's a lot of things to be taken in on this thing right here. This is giving us the understanding that demons probably know us as well. They probably know our inner workings, and I think at the end of the day, it's probably easy to get an unclean spirit in you and to basically abide there for a lot of times. I think a lot of depression, I think a lot of these ailments that a lot of us have could very well be unclean spirits, things that we have not been able to rid ourselves of, things that just we don't know why we're depressed. We don't know why, and you know the people of the world will send you a medical script and tell you, oh, you're depressed, go take this pill. You're tired, take this pill. You can't sleep, take another pill, right? Or there's other things, right? I think I said the same thing twice. But the thing is, I think all of this stuff is stuff that we have the abilities to pray away, to deal with. When we feel under attack, a demonic attack, and you kind of know when there's a demonic attack. It just kind of feels way different than the rest of it. It's time to get on our knees. It's time to pray. It's time to seek our Creator. It's time to try to get some relief from Him the only way it is. And sometimes, like Messiah has talked about, a lot of these aren't just praying away. A lot of these are fasting. A lot of these things, we need to have a lifestyle change. We need to have a world change. We need to make sure that what we are doing is in alignment with the kingdom. Have we ended up going to helly weird movies? Do we listen to satanic stuff? I saw some news article about the NFL, and they had the witch, the Beyonce. She is like, I think Jay-Z I think he was out there diddling the kids as well. He's all in on this stuff. But they still have the witch up there casting spells on everybody. And all this stuff, guys, is a seance. We're all inside of an organized warlock witch seance, from advertising on TV to the music that is here, that we hear, that we just start chanting the stuff. And so we got to be very careful that we don't listen to this music. We don't watch TV. We are not those people. We are the astute people of our Creator who know and understand that our very last breath could be the last breath we're breathing right this second. And we want to be ready. And this is why the kingdom is most people don't make it. Most people don't care. They make it. And there's in the book of the Nazarene, Messiah even goes, you've been told a lot don't make it, but I also tell you that many were chosen, but we've unchose them, right? Like they are no longer delegates. They can no longer be into the kingdom to come. 35. And having risen very early in the morning, while still dim, he went out and went away to a lonely place, and there he prayed. And Shimon and those who were with him searched for him. And when they found him, they said to him, all are seeking you. And he said to them, let us go into the neighboring towns so that I proclaim there also, because for this I have come forth. And he was proclaiming in their congregation in all Galilee, and casting out demons. And a leper came to him, calling upon him, kneeling down to him and saying to him, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And Yahushua, moved with compassion, stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, I desire it, be cleansed. And immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. And having strictly warned him, he immediately sent him away and said to him, see, say not to anyone, but go show yourself to the Kohanim and offer for your cleansing what Moshe ordered as a witness to them. But he went out and began to publish it so much and to spread the word that Yahushua was no longer able to openly enter the city, but was outside in lonely places. Yet they came to him from all directions. So there you are. We have a celebrity in our midst. We have Messiah Yahushua, a real celebrity, not a satanic celebrity, because all of these guys, you don't make it in the movie or music industry without selling your soul. And so we have our one and only celebrity that we should ever be following. The one that is our priest, the one that has given us a curse of the breaking of the Torah, the one who has offered us something other than spiritual death. And so it is by his words and is by his legacy that he left us. He gives us an understanding of how we are to behave, how we are to act, and what we need to do. And as he's talking about demons and all of this stuff, we all need to be very, very wary of the demonic forces that are out here, because it is very clear in the book of Revelation. It talks about the Torah keepers are always under assault. They are hated by the powers of darkness, because the powers of darkness have denied the Torah. They've denied the ways of our Creator. And they hate those who are on the side of our Creator. So, with that, my friends, my family, I think we are going to roll this. And yeah, the grant says guard our gates. Absolutely. Let me look real quick.
Who's Mom's Jack, my favorite, said my sister and her kids and her husband left the United States 11 years ago and never came back. Everyone said she lost her mind. I'm like, that's the same as our parents said.
Yeah, no, they all of our in-laws hate us because we left the great United States of America a decade or so ago, and it was bad then, and it's pretty unrecognizable at the moment. And so I was talking to some people today, and North America has kind of gotten what North America's has. And when a country has denied the Creator, denied the Son, has set up shop with the devils and demons, and you can't live in that kind of depravity. You cannot live in that kind of zone without that stuff creasing all over you guys. So those of you who are in the United States, buckle up, keep your head down, hands up, keep those zeet seats on, right? Keep fighting the good fight. It is a corrupted place, but guys, the rest of the world is corrupted as well. It's not like there's just a place to go that everybody loves our Creator and everybody's worshiping Him. We live in Latin America. There are a bunch of Catholics down here. There's idols everywhere. It's the same rhetoric. It's just not as depraved as the United States has become, but it'll get here, and it's on its way. So with that, guys, we love you all. We hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Jehovah brought you and guard you. Jehovah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. He will lift his face upon you and give you peace. I say, shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barack them.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're dealing with the dogs. We're so sorry. Hold on. One sec. All right. Can you guys get a load? Jade, will you please contain the dogs? All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Rick Johnson. He was looking for Soul to Steal. Charlie Daniels Band. I remember that back in the day, and that's so true. All right, guys. So we love you all. We hope you have a good day. Sorry about the dogs, and we're trying to contain them as we end this. Much love. All right, beautiful family. We love you guys a lot. That was the dog horking over there. Sorry. We love you a tremendous amount. Thank you guys for being a part of our world. Thank you for being a part of Yah's world. Thank you for being our family that is outside here. We love you, and may Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the Torah forever be a part of your life. May Messiah Yahushua be our Melchizedek priest forever, and may we all give each other huge hugs, big love in the kingdom to come. I can't wait to see y'all. Much love, guys.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.